I don't understand you today. I don't listen. Stop with that. Stop with that. Why did they sell you in that bottle though? That's what I'm curious. Why in God's name
This is
did they sell?
this is what you call marketing. I didn't want this juice when I walked in. Then I saw the packaging and I said, you know what?
Got my Manhattan today. Look at that.
Oh, I would
Bueno.
have joined my man's. My man's, I would
Peep
have
the
joined you,
cherry.
my
Peep the
man's.
cherry, baby. Look at that cube. Look at that cube. Look at that ice
No,
cube. You feel
bro.
me?
I look fresh. I look really fresh, man. I
Mm,
must
that's
say,
all right.
man.
Don't
Like a
hate.
solid drink you got on you.
Mm, don't hate. Don't hate. It's Bullet Rye whiskey.
Oh, Bullet
Yeah, don't
Rye.
hate.
Nah,
Don't
I
hate.
like Bullet Rye.
95 proof. 95 proof. Let's get it. How you doing today? How was your weekend? Are we happy to be here? We
Yo,
warmed
we we
up?
we
Let
back. We
me ask
back.
you
Oh, what
something.
up, Snacks?
Snacks is in
Snacks
the
in the house.
building.
Yeah, stop playing
So
with me.
what do we owe the honor?
Snacks is bringing the smoke. That's exactly what it says. So you already know.
We got
American
Ninja in
Ninja.
the
What up, too? What up, too?
oh,
Um,
we got another guest in the house.
let's
Front
go.
and center. We got court seats. They're sitting courtside. They're like, all right, I'm here.
They
I'm
out here.
here. Let me see what these guys got to offer. All right. So, Savory, I got a question for you.
Holla at me.
Being that we're from New York City, what does racism look like in New York City? Just curious.
Racism in New York City. I remember I told you, man, this is the kind of conversation that it's like I only started really thinking about it more when people bring it to my attention, which shows me that it wasn't really in my face as much as people wanted to be in my face. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like that situation, like, yo, macho, you heard about that dude being racist? But you kind of got it like, wait, what you talking about? Oh, he was being racist? Like, I got to tell you why he was being racist. Because you're not experiencing your everyday life with this kind of racism, right? But if I remind you, I'm putting it together for you. I feel like in New York, a lot of people start putting pieces together. So even if it's not racism, it's like, no, of course, I have to be racist. So that's kind of like, I don't know, it wasn't a big combo around more. It's like racist. We wasn't worried about that, man.
Yeah, I think we knew where I grew up in my climate, I think we knew it was there. I just don't think we thought it affected us directly. You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah, but I
saying?
think
This
that's
is not
most of the
like
cases
it's not
in
yeah.
different hoods. Yeah.
I don't because again, like you're not dealing with like I don't know, like everything is somewhat segregated, but it's not because you're still overlapping with other communities. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really felt like white people looked or spoke to me a certain way, other than the fact that they kept bringing this conversation up. Like when I was interviewed, when I was like
So
13
really
years
quick,
old,
Macho, can everybody see us? Because Katie said the screen is black. Just want to make sure. Might be on the air.
our
I think.
screen, our
Yeah, I
screen is
think.
black.
Yeah, I want to make sure we coming in. So I don't know if it's just you, Katie, or we just can come into everyone. But
Just need no. I see fine. All right,
okay, go.
looks like we're good. So basically, okay, we're good. I just wanted to see a few more messages. So basically, when I was like 13 years old, I was interviewed by the MLB by a couple of correspondents from the Major League Baseball. And I was part of this organization, and they kept asking us questions like, how does it feel to grow up in an environment that you grow up in? And I'm like, I didn't why would anybody ask me this question? So I found that very strange. Like I was 13 years old and I didn't think that way until someone asked me that question. Like, how does it
Hmm.
feel to grow up where you're growing up? I'm like everybody else grows up, right? Like you know what I
That's
mean?
another thing. When you grow up, you don't realize that it's just different kind of upbringings, right? When you're a kid and all, you're just like, yo, this is just life, you know. That's why you deal with all the ups and
Unless you're
downs.
going to different places, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Whatever. I just wanted to start that. I want to preface that before we get into the show, y'all. Thanks for joining, but stay tuned. Keep it locked right here. We got a big discussion to happen in about Brian Flores in the NFL.
It's good.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining in. You're watching Drinks with the Nobody. We want to thank you personally. I'm Macho, that's Savory, and we are now on our 97th video that we have now gone. We have been doing this. We've been steady grinding on TikTok and on YouTube, and we're hoping that we're bringing you guys a different perspective from the inner city. We're two inner city Latinos, and we wanted to bring a more conservative outlook. We really want to be critical thinking when it comes to certain situations like racism,
Yes, sir.
business, economic progress, so on and
Oh,
so
sure.
forth. So we're really big on this channel on having that outlook. So let's get to that segment, y'all.
Joy, and I just want to say thank you.
Of course.
I just want to say thank you. So last week, I interviewed for the Giants position. I was set to interview on Thursday, the Monday prior. Before I interviewed, I received a text message from Bill Belichick saying congratulations on the Giants, essentially congratulations on the Giants job. There was a little bit of back and forth.
We have the text messages there on the screen.
Yeah, there was some back and forth and
Some confusion because
yeah.
you haven't sat down with the Giants yet.
I have not sat down with the Giants. There was some back and forth, and I asked him, "Is this you talking to the right Brian?"
So wait, okay.
I threw
So
my
my
man under
man,
the bus.
yeah. So Mr. Belichick, his former employer, right? He used to work for Belichick. This guy right here, Brian Flores, used to work for Bill Belichick for about 10 plus years in the Patriots organization. So basically, Bill Belichick is giving him the up, like, yo, Brian, I heard you got the job. But he didn't even interview for the Giants job yet. He's talking about a different Brian Dobble. So he's saying, obviously Bill is like, yeah, I heard from my sources, I heard from the Buffalo and the New York Giants that you're the guy. You're the right guy. You know? So he's like, wait a minute. I haven't even interviewed with them yet. I'm about to, and they already found their guy. So he's butthurt about that.
And as you've seen through the text messages, he was actually thought he was texting Brian Daboll.
Who they ended up hiring.
Yes, sir.
So at that point, how did that make you feel knowing that you were walking into an interview where a decision might have already been made?
It was a range of emotions: humiliation, disbelief.
Wait a minute. What's humiliating about the fact that you have to go to an interview that you think somebody already got hired for the job?
He's alluding to he feels shameful because somebody already got it, so they're playing him.
But he could change their minds.
Well, he's definitely going to argue in court that no, they already chose somebody. So
Okay,
remember,
okay.
because he's using the what's it called, the NFL, the policy that they have. He was saying the name of it. He'll probably get to it.
R. Rooney, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Rooney. So he was using that. Yeah.
Anger. I've worked so hard to get to where I am in football, to become a head coach. Put 18 years in this league, and it was to go on what was going to be what felt like, or what was a sham interview. I was hurt. And,
But you went knowing that you probably weren't going to get it.
I did.
Why did you continue to go?
Ooh, when I was watching this and I saw her ask that question, I was just like, ooh, how do you answer that question? No, seriously. Say, if you're sitting in that seat, I know first off, you wouldn't put yourself in this position. I know that for a fact. We've known each other. Me and you, we know each other for 10 plus years. I know you don't go about your business like this. But how do you answer that question? How can you answer that question?
Well, you have to approach it from a place of like, I just had hope, but unfortunately, you got to play a victim, right? You have to victimize yourself.
You have to victimize yourself.
Which means you have to kind of play the card of, look, I knew I wasn't gonna get the job, but at the end of the day, I wanted to show up, put my best foot forward. You gotta give these these crazy half fake answers. Yeah, so let's see how he answers this.
I think there's still hope, and maybe it's call it the audacity of hope.
The audacity.
And I
Oh,
was,
there you go. I
I
knew he was
have a
going to say
belief
that card.
that,
I didn't even see this
there's
one.
good in people. I just do.
We
And,
knew he wasn't getting that job. On the day before that Giants interview, we reached out.
Those
a
are
white
his.
savior lawyer.
Those are those are his two lawyers right here. These are his two lawyers. We're gonna get into that, like you heard Savory say right there.
out to you, CBS, to all of you, to start talking about doing this interview today because we knew he wasn't getting the job. We knew it was a setup. We knew we were just trying to comply with the Rooney Rule. We started drafting a complaint, and here we are.
The Giants say they're pleased and confident in the hiring process. I get the sense from the lawsuit and from you right now that you had a feeling like, here we go again. This wasn't the first time you felt discriminated against in the league. Is that true?
yeah, I mean,
Wait a second.
Not
Wait.
the first
Wait. Where was he discriminated against initially, though? Right there. Like in the time that he's been talking, I have to stop it right here. This is what critical thinking does. Where did you hear discrimination in all of this? Is the fact that he's going for a job that he knows he's not going to get? That's discrimination?
Correct. Yeah, because his form of discrimination is what his case. I think the case his lawyer is going to make is they gave him a sense of false hope and they lied to him, right? Like if he's not getting the job, why bring him in? They're only using the Rooney Rule. They're going to use the Rooney Rule against the NFL and say you have this rule, but you don't want to hire minorities. This is going to be their play. You just have this rule to have it to show that you're interviewing minorities, which is somewhat of a case there.
Other white people were hired. Other white people were interviewed, despite the fact that they had their guy as well.
Yeah, for sure. Again, he has a point in the big picture, I think, with the Rooney Rule, but he got no evidence that that's what they're really doing.
But you see what I'm saying, though, right? Like, so
Yeah,
it's
he interviewed other white
discrimination if we don't do this towards you, but if I do this towards another white person, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they only bring him in because he was black, so they can show that's what he's going to argue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Rooney Rule is intended to, give minorities an opportunity to sit down in front of ownership. But I think what it's turned into is an instance where guys are just checking the box, and that's been the case. I've been on some interviews in the past that where I've had that feeling. There's always no way to know for sure, but you know, and I know I'm not alone in that.
But you know,
I think.
But you know, pause that. I just want to let you know something. All right. Let me get back to this for a second with you. This is where you have to have your BS meter on. All right, because this is how people argue their points sometimes. Macho, let me know exactly like what's your evidence behind this. Look, to tell you the truth, this is how you answer that. When you know, you know. I just had a feeling. At the end of the day, I know it's my skin color. Like you see, so that's where he's going with this. So there's no substance in what you're saying. So you're backing it up with, and again, this is the atmosphere people have created when you keep talking about racism. You use the word for everything. Now you allow people, even people of color and white people, to take advantage of that word for their benefit. That's all he's doing.
I keep talking about there's a profile of the black guys who love to go full-blown Malcolm X. None of the guys that love to go full-blown Malcolm X, they never love to go full-blown Betty Shabazz. They love to go Becky Shabazz. And Brian Flores fits the profile. That sounds like a vicious, personal shot.
So Jason Whitlock is talking about how these guys are so pro-black, at literally checking everybody else that are against the economic success or the black progress, as some creators are alluding to this idea, right? Like you are there. So what you doing over there, man? Stop it with all that. That they're so pro-black that when they go out and look for a head coach for their kids, this is what Jason's saying here. When they look for a head coach for their kids, they don't even have a black person that raised their own kids. They make kids with a person who's white. So they don't even pick black people. But they get mad when the NFL. This is what Jason Whitlock's saying. The personal reflects in the business. So you're getting mad at the owners not even hiring black people, but you don't even go and get black people to pick as a soulmate, as a spouse, or as a partner.
Yeah. Or really live that out. You know what it is? There's a disconnect between, there's a principle that says you want equality, but you don't live to that principle because you only speak up when it's for your benefit. You see, the principle, they're fighting behind the principle of racism. This is racism, it's equity. But they're only fighting it to their benefit. It's like Colin, right? Right. If you're really fighting for that, you want to look in every area of the NFL. You want to have a real conversation. You don't want to have that. So what you're doing is you're pretending that you care about it, but what you're really doing is only caring about it to the extent it matters to your pocket, to the extent it affects you personally.
And you're just trying to make noise about a situation that don't really require this kind of attention. And are we really going to look at the demographic of head coaches and owners? For example, Al Sharpton said things like, we need more black owners to be put into the NFL. You don't put owners in a business. The owners buy and start their own business.
Yeah,
See, this is the kind of mindset. This is the kind of mindset that's warped. This is the kind of mindset that's warped. Instead of focusing on the proficiency levels of young black people in this country, in Baltimore, barely on grade level, barely on math grade level, barely can even read or write in Compton, California. But the thing you're thinking about is we need more black NFL coaches. We need more black owners of pro sports. Why do we have this mindset? It's because they're telling us to think this way.
You hit it on the nail.
They're telling us to think this way.
Right.
And he continues.
We are having the most unsophisticated, stupid conversation about black NFL head coaches. It's been going on for 20 years now. The reason why things aren't getting any better is because at no point have we ever addressed the real truth. That the people that come through the entry door, which generally speaking for football coaches, it's a GA job at a college, graduate assistant job that pays virtually no money.
And if you guys are easily offended, I'm going to warn y'all. Just don't watch it. Because he's about to say some real things right now. If you're about to get offended, don't watch this.
This is your time. Step out.
And so if at that entry point of a graduate assistant at the college level, if let's say 1,000 people line up to get the graduate assistant job, and of that 1,000 that lined up to get that GA job, if 950 of them are white guys, let's don't act shocked that 10 years later, 95% of the guys getting head coaching jobs in college or the NFL
he wants to have
level,
a conversation.
If 95% of them are white guys. That's who started the race. And I've been talking about this for years as it relates. A graduate assistant job is for no money. And I'm talking about my friends, what I experienced amongst a lot of black dudes that I went to college with couldn't take certain entry-level jobs because they had baby mamas. I was able to take a job out of college for $5 an hour because I had no responsibilities. I could live in a one-room efficiency and make virtually no money because I didn't have responsibilities.
I
didn't have a baby.
Really talk about this. Oh, excuse me.
Too many
really trying to talk about this.
Former players, go check. It's statistically proven. Too many of these former college athletes, particularly black ones, Illegitimate kids start at 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. That's just a fact.
So Macho. Let me walk through some of this. All right. This is what you call someone who wants to have the conversation. All right. Because let me go back to your example. If you think we need more black owners in the NFL, the solution is not let's get black owners, is why. You got to ask yourself, why isn't there black owners? What decisions are they making? If you want more, this is America. How do we get a playing field for a few years to give them more opportunity if you feel there's not enough? You see, these are the conversations people don't want to have. Again, they look at a disparity and they say what? Racism. They look at a disparity and they yell discrimination.
Why would it be easier to hire a white person?
Why would it be easier?
It'd be easier to hire a white person because I can fire him and I don't have to worry about this nonsense.
Oh yeah, for sure. And this to go off what Macho says before this next one is, let me also tell you this. This is the problem with these programs helping minorities. Because when the program gives you guidelines as a business owner, you are now going to look for the best of the best of the best. So you're not going to help the lower class people because you know that if you try to fire them, it'll be all hell loose.
NAACP,
so you try to hire even better.
You have the members of the Black Caucus. You got everybody in your
exactly.
footsteps.
So things with affirmative action actually have a business get even stricter. They'll meet that quota because they have to legally, right? But they'll get even stricter, and their standard to hire a person of color will go even higher. So they're actually not even helping the lower class.
Is it better to get there based on a quota or better to get there based off merit?
Merit, man. Not only do you
it has to be merit.
But it's merit.
So so why would a guy like Brian Flores, and like you said, he's got 2 white lawyers, 2 white saviors to argue this in court for him on behalf of him, the black man who is stating the reason why I didn't get this Texan job, the New York Giants job, why I got fired from Miami is because I'm black. Why you got to do this? Now you're going to hurt so many people who want to get in there and do this.
Exactly. That's why I said they only care about themselves. Macho, can you do me this favor, Macho? The video you were just playing, can you play the 28-minute mark before you transition to this next one? Right? The one you were just playing, Jason Whitlock?
Yeah.
Go to the 28-minute mark there. Because I want people to see something really quick before you go to your point. Because this is the mentality that people are pressing in. This is the comparisons that people are making. This is the nonsense that we're talking about, right? We're about to hear an insane comparison and these kind of comparisons are normalized, right? So this is what needs to be challenged. And I want you to play this because it's very relevant, man, and we'll go right back to it.
Do it.
Let's do it right quick. It's playing.
All right, welcome.
I'm sensing I'll need tax guidance for my new.
We got a commercial.
There we go. We got a commercial.
But you're gonna see these. You're gonna see these comparisons, bro. And this is the thing that it's like, how do you make this comparison? How in the world can you go? And I'll tell you why. Because culture, the narratives have been sold.
All right, let's keep it rolling. I wanted to play a comment from Ryan Clark, one of ESPN's other NFL experts. Clark was asked about Flores' contention that the NFL operates like a plantation. Take a listen to what Ryan Clark says here.
Your reaction to the NFL being compared to a plantation?
You know, I always think about what slavery truly was, and I never want to, compare things to slavery. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say it's necessarily a plantation because people will push back against that because these players do get paid. What I will say is this: there is no separation in any of the 4 major sports between ownership and labor that's further apart than the NFL. I've sat at the table with these owners and listened to how they talk about labor. It is truly labor to them. We don't work with them. We work for them. We are commodities. Commodities
does not gotta
that can be
operate like
replaced,
that, you
commodities that
genius.
can be sold, commodities that can be traded. And so when Brian Flores speaks of it in that nature, it's absolutely true. The other thing is, it's a seat at the table is very difficult to get, whether that's a seat at the executive table, whether that's a seat at the table of ownership. And right now, we have nobody that looks like me in ownership. And so we continue to have the same cycle of people run through. Josh McDaniels is good enough to fail in Denver, take a job, then not take a job, but then be the guy who's the lead for the Las Vegas Raiders. We've also seen guys like Hugh Jackson, who I actually got an opportunity to interview last week, that'll be out tomorrow on The Pivot, talk about the way that he succeeded in Oakland and then wasn't supported there and fired. And then he goes to Cleveland and wasn't supported there in his efforts to make a better team. And there's story after story like this, but now Brian Flores has pulled back the curtain. And in pulling back the curtain, he'll show that there is disparities, that there is differences, that people aren't treated the same, and that the playing field is not leveled. When you look at the number of coaches who are fired and hired, it's always more white coaches than black. And then when you look at the league, you always see more minority and black players than white. It's no different than what he's talking about on plantations. They just get paid a little bit more.
They get paid a little bit.
Can we?
They get.
Yeah, this guy's.
They get paid a little more. They get paid a little more.
Bro. No, he said there's no difference. No difference whatsoever. No difference.
So you're talking out of both sides of your mouth right now. You saying I would never compare it to slavery, but then compare it to slavery.
Yeah. That's why these people can say anything they want.
There's a master plan here, and that is just to get black ownership. That's it. As if that'll solve everything.
No, it won't solve anything. That's the problem.
It won't solve nothing but the entitlement catching. You guys just want to be entitled to just get whatever the hell y'all want. You see, 40 years ago, guys were happy to get a big deal contract. And as the time progressed, getting thousands to now millions and now $1 million endorsement, you want to talk about, but now we want more. What do you mean you not want more? It took your work to get in here. It's going to take your work to get up there. Period.
Macho, you know how many whites and people of all different nationalities want a football team? It requires billions of dollars. It's not about a race thing. Most people don't get to that level,
work
bro.
Your ass off.
You got Gary Vee talking about wanting to buy the Jets, and he says he's 20 years away. Are you dumb? This is not, and he's a millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. He said he's still 20 years away because this takes a lot of money. This takes a lot of commitment. What are these people brainwashing people with this insane narrative?
It takes so much time and effort to run a franchise that big in the NFL.
Yes.
Let's just call this what it is. Y'all want to strong arm your way into a position y'all have no business being in. Period. The end. That's my whole point. Ain't nobody gonna change what I think. You got to earn your way to the top. You got to earn your way to the top. And you got suckers like I'm about to play right now, open their mouth talking smack about this stuff like this. I want to play this and then we.
Anniversary of a landmark moment in NFL history. It was in Super Bowl 41 that our colleague Tony Dungy led Indianapolis over the Chicago Bears. Those Bears were coached by Tony's former assistant, Lovie Smith. They were the first
the way
two
they
black
set this
head
up.
coaches
I love it.
in Super Bowl history. The Colts winning that game over Smith and the Bears. Now, shortly before the game, the winner of Super Bowl 43, Mike Tomlin, was hired by Pittsburgh. In 2006, the league had 7 black head coaches, a total that has not been surpassed in any season since. Of this year's 9 head coaching hires, only 2 were minorities. Smith in Houston, and in Miami, Mike McDaniel, who is biracial. Race in the NFL has been a front-burner issue the last 6 years, met by the league with expanded requirements for minority candidate interviews. But at the most visible spot on the NFL sideline, where the head coach stands, the NFL owners continue to fail. 20, 25 years. As the topic comes up now, Michael Smith, do you see it in a different light?
Listen to this clown right here.
No, not yet. And you just hit on it. We've been talking about this.
Oh, this guy. Oh, I'm out, Macho.
White people white owners, white executives, white coaches, they have to take up these conversations, take up this fight, and come up with solutions to a problem that they created and they often benefit from.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
This is why I yelled at the TV. This is why I was yelling at the TV when I called you earlier, and my wife was like, "Yo, he's yelling at the TV." This problem won't stop until these white coaches and white owners talk about this.
So
Whose
Macho,
problem
hold
is
up,
this?
Macho,
Whose problem is this?
Hold on, let me get this straight, Macho. I'm making sure I'm keeping up with you here. He's challenging, or not challenging, he's demanding the white owners to talk amongst themselves in order to what? Transfer equity? In order to give a portion of their ownership? Or in order to talk about how guilty they are of taking something from black people? What kind of conversation are we having about this? Like literally, what kind of conversation are we having around here? Do you want a conversation that gives you an upper hand? Or do you actually want to know how they got these teams? How people of color are not getting them? How Diddy got outbidded, like Jeffrey said in the comments? These are all real things that happen. For every one white, the people who own NFL teams is 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the white people. We acting like it's just white people swarming. Bro, you know how hard it is? That in itself is a rare thing. That in itself is a rarity. We can't just, you got to stop throwing away these things. This man right here, bro, it's been a while since I heard him speak. But this is what you call a master puppet. I'm gonna go out and say he's a master puppet, bro. Every time I hear this guy speak, it's almost like he's reading from a teleprompter, but he's not, because he memorized the talking points, because you say the same thing in different ways. What, Macho, please explain to me. This is why I want to leave this here. Please explain to me, what kind of conversation does he want white owners to have? Or do you want the players to have a conversation of why there's not enough white players? Should we have that conversation? Should the black players get together and find a way to recruit more white wide receivers? Like, where are we going here? You want to be consistent with your logic? You want to be consistent with your nonsense? Let's test out your nonsense and what you're trying. The problem is, these foolish people on TV never get challenged. And then you got tons of people. You have your outliers like Jason Whitlock, but you got 90% of the people not challenging this crap, because what he says, Macho, makes no sense, bro. And he knows it. It's a talking point. Makes no sense, bro.
If you really care about black people in this country, you don't care about them being owners of a pro football team or a pro basketball team. If you really care about them, you care about them being able to read at grade or on grade or above grade level. If you really care about black people in this country, you care about them knowing how to do basic math. You don't care about the fact that they can own a pro football team. This is what bothers me the most, because you guys may not see what we see, but this kind of rhetoric goes to a traffic stop. And that non-compliancy comes from this sense of superiority, and that I am black, so you therefore can't talk to me, or how dare you even stop me at a traffic stop? And then we have another black body laying on the ground because of an incident involving with a police basic traffic stop. Not even difficult. You rolled through a stop sign. You ate a red light. You were going a bit too fast. And instead of just complying with the situation, you now have to make it worse than what it actually is. Why? Because we have rhetoric like this. You have men like Michael Smith and company making millions of dollars, not caring of the ripple effects. They don't care. They don't want to talk about this right now. They want to change the demographic of the NFL, despite the fact that almost 70, 80% of the NFL demographic are black men. They don't give a damn about our demographic. They don't care about the ripple effects in society. They don't give a damn.
Macho, you just said it, bro.
They want to make these comparisons. They want to say Al Sharptons of the world wants to say we need to put in more black owners, as if you can put them in. See, this kind of,
it's their rightful place. That's the kind of rhetoric they've heard. It's their rightful place. It's like you said, what help do these people get by doing that? Right? How you help everybody is what you said. Literacy rate, It's better school. Like, these are the real conversations. But again, these people don't want to talk about real issues.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm going to say this right quick on Sip on Facts. I mean, I really don't have no statistics, no quote for you guys, but share this with y'all. Major League Baseball has been able to incorporate so many people from the Dominican Republic, from Cuba, from Venezuela. Some of my favorite players that I've ever watched come from those places. Now coming over from Japan and North Korea, these guys, despite the fact of the argument that's being made now, even is perpetuating in the MLB, that these guys are getting paid, underpaid, because, you know, they're not American, you know, so therefore they're going to get paid a very low price. Let me tell you something. Ronald Acuna Jr. signed a major deal with the Atlanta Braves, despite the fact that it could have been a lot more. Ronald Acuna Jr. comes from DR. I'm gonna let Savory talk about how much $10 million, $20 million sounds to a person playing on a dirt field in DR. Go ahead, Savory.
Bro, I'm gonna put it like this: when you get that money, you see this conversation of generational wealth that we have. You just solved it, my brother. Especially if your family's in DR, you just solved it, right? So don't give me this nonsense. Yes, but you can always have an argument. Oh, he could have got paid better. Really quick, Macho. On top of that, right? 30% of the MLB are foreign-born players, right? That's a quick look up I just did. 30%, just to go off your point, to give your point more validity. 30%, which means more than 1 of 4 of MLB players are foreign-born. These are people usually from dirt poor countries that changed their whole family legacy, that came to America. And again, and we can find similar statistics. I can bet we can find in different sports across, from MLB, NFL. So it's just because you're hiring by talent. The reason there's more foreign-born players is because they're better at the sport. If not, they would have.
They live it.
They
This is
live
their
it. They
way
play.
out.
Yes.
This is they're playing on a dirt field with no glove. They're usually using their own hands. And the pro sports in America has broken the curse, has broken that generational curse. Ronald Acuna Jr. is set to make $22 million. Excuse me. I'm sorry. $15 million with $12 million in incentives and luxury at 24 years old, coming from the Dominican Republic with no college degree and no formal education. Ronald Acuna Jr. has broken the curse of his family's legacy and now going to
Forever.
be able to help family all out in the DR. And we like Obama said to the Democrats, like I shared the article with you. We
Yeah, I read that.
complain and whine about the things we weren't able to accomplish, but never celebrate the things we have accomplished. Once again, my man is full of the words that he knows how to spin it. He knows how he's a king and a master at the wording. But it is true. We could apply that in all areas of life.
Yeah, I
Stop
agree with that.
whining about what you don't got. Start celebrating about the things that you do have. And that's the Sip on Facts today, guys. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you guys back here on Wednesday. Keep it locked right here on Drinks with a Nobody. Thank you very much, y'all. See y'all.